You can still get your life back. Get your life back. It's real. Get your life back. Get your life back. Hey everyone, this is Cheryl Howard, your inspiration and transformational strategist, life purpose coach, pastoral counselor. I'm known as the preacher teacher and spiritual midwife. And I just did a broadcast talking about many hats and finances, and that just really deals with all the different ways that we serve in this world, or the many hats that we wear, the many roles that we play. And that was more dedicated to women because we wear a lot of roles. Not saying men don't, because they do, but I was just focusing on that for the moment. But this broadcast is for men and women, and today I want to talk about settling for less. One reason why I want to do this broadcast is because I counsel and I coach men and women, majority women, but enough men as well, where this broadcast will really, they can relate to this topic as well. Everybody can relate to the topic of not settling for less, really, because I find that a lot of people do that. They settle for less for various reasons. Maybe they experienced some kind of traumatic experience and it left them feeling a sense of worthlessness, hopelessness, doubt, fear, anxiety. And so they tend to think negative, or they tend to go with what's familiar to them. So they function at a certain level, and anything above that level is uncomfortable for them. So they end up settling. And I'm going to go into different categories of how sometimes we settle. And I talked a little bit just now about why we settle. And sometimes we're not even aware. We're not conscious of why we make certain decisions, or we surround ourselves with the same type of people over and over again, or we find ourselves in the same cycle of, I talk a lot about the dysfunction and things that's just not working, and you're not really taking time to evaluate things. You got to get to the point where you're so tired in life. You have to learn how to examine yourself. You got to learn how to check in with yourself. And it's important to check in with people. And this is one of the things I do, especially today with, people having a lot of depression and just a lot of things in life that people feel overwhelmed with, barriers that they face. And if they're not around supportive people, they're not around good positive influences and groups or whatever, they tend to get lost and then end up dealing with depression and sadness and doubt, and then you don't hear from them anymore. Then they go into a retreat mode. And so I don't want that to happen to you or anybody, but these are the people that I counsel, and these are some of the people that I coach. And so I want to deal with that today. And I really want to save this video because I want a lot of my clients to watch this again and reiterate things that I've said, so that way they can really meditate and listen and glean. Because sometimes when you're in a session, you may take in a lot of information and you really need to process those things in your quiet time. And that's what I want you to do as well. So settling for less. And first I want to deal with identity crisis, because we can lose that when we're going through, or when we settle. And so settling in identity crisis, a lot of times that happens because we always lose ourselves, or we settle for the same crowd, the same type of individuals, the ones that we complain and we cry about. We still befriend or draw alliances with those type of people. Why? Is it that you're familiar with craziness? You're familiar with drama? You're familiar with dysfunction? And so that's the only way you're not really thriving, but you think you're thriving, when really you're adding more stress and fear and trauma to your life. That's what you're really doing. It's like you're re-inviting it. You're inflicting that on you over and over again. So you always find yourself in the same type of crowd, the same type of posses and groups. And so I want you to really be intentional and purposeful about your life from now to the rest of your life. Okay, so I'm on the side of positive psychology. This is coaching for a minute. How do you want to live the rest of your life starting today? Not in the past. You got to move on. You got to heal. You got to forgive, and you got to move on. But you have to make a decision that you want to live your rest of your life. How? Mine is always pursuing peace. I want peace in my relationship. I want peace in my career. I want peace if I'm working at a job. I want peace in my family. And most of all, I want peace in my home. So if you're that type of individual that like to stir up stuff, cause a lot of conflict, I don't want to conflict you with relationships. Then I have no space and time for you, because I'm purposeful and meaningful about living this life with peace as much as possible. And the Bible teaches about that. As much as possible, the word says, try to live peaceably with all men. That's humanity. You're not always going to have peace all the time, but it should be a pursuit, like the pursuit of happiness. Peace is a pursuit for me. So how do you want to live starting today? If you need to write that down, if you can make a vision board about this, okay? A vision board don't have to be subject or just limited to your career goals or your educational goals or your life goals. This can be a life goal, but this can be focused and centered on positive living, purposeful living. Give it a title, meaningful living, inspirational living, whatever you want to call it. But have pictures and words that express the way you feel about living the rest of your life. If you want to surround yourself with positive friends, have a picture of a group of people that are positive, or have some positive affirmations in one little area. Things that you want to do that help you to maintain that type of outlook in life. Because there are things that we're going to encounter that sometimes is going to rock our boats a little bit, but that vision board may help. That journaling may help something. So you're being proactive. You're preparing yourself now. That's doing the work. This is the stuff I get my clients to as well. Do the work. Prepare yourself. I'm going to come on another time, and I like to talk a lot about, I just lost my train of thought. But it's positioning. It just came back. Positioning yourself for a particular opportunity that you want. Position yourself for that opportunity so that you can be found, and you'll be found ready for that opportunity, whether it's a future husband, a future spouse, or a future wife, a future position, whatever it is. You're doing the work now, internally and externally, so that way you are ready. You are ready, willing, and able. You are on board. You are online. So do that. So, think hard about your associations and the people that you align yourself with. Be purposeful and intentional about that, so you won't lose your identity, because that's what happens. You with the wrong people, you feel like you're getting lost in it because, you really don't belong in the group with those type of people. It's okay. We're all different. We all different, and just acknowledge that and realize I don't have to be here. That's settling if you think you have to be with this group because maybe you don't have other people that you can connect with. Don't let that stop you. You have to be alone for a little season. Do what you have to do, because at the end of the day, you have to protect, you have to guard yourself. You have to guard your gift. You have to guard your anointing. You have to guard who you are. And I mean in a positive way. I don't mean guarding where you letting people out and you're not open to show love and unity and networking and collaboration and all that. Don't do that. Don't block your blessing. You don't do that. Don't be your own blessing blocker. But what I'm saying is, guard, you protecting yourself. You're protecting your mind, your mentality, your sanity. You're protecting your heart, all of that. You're avoiding unnecessary conflict, unnecessary issues that you really don't have to do. So learn to get into the habit of, there is something called the habit of happiness, but get into the habit of examining and evaluating, introspection, analyzing certain things. This is when you really see a pattern. When you see a pattern of something and it's not working, you got to do something different to make something, have a different outcome, have a different outlook altogether. So that's selling for the wrong crowd. That falls under have an identity crisis. When you with the wrong crowd, there's no edification. There's no building up. And see, that's what the church is about. All the gifts that God gives every believer, whether you believe or not, I just want to give this example. All the gifts that we have are to edify each other. Edify meaning to build each other up, to grow stronger in God, to learn, to mature, and then to show acts of service among especially the believers and everybody in the world. And so we build each other up. We draw strength from one another. We provide a lot of positive things for each other. I hope this didn't get in the way. I hope that didn't get in the way. I meant to turn off my notifications. I turned off the sound, but I meant to block them from popping up. So I hope that didn't block me. But anyway, yeah, this is what we're called to do. So I just want to use that as an example to get you to look overall at how you connect with people going forward. It should be some edification in there. You should compliment each other in some kind of way. You know, I have good friends in my life where we encourage each other all the time. We see into each other. There's a level of intimacy there where they see into me. I see into them. I breathe on their gifts and on their purpose and on their passion and on their talent by speaking positive of it, by speaking well of. Not only that, we also keep each other accountable. This is another benefit that you get with being with the right group, the right crowd. It's beneficial. It's reciprocal. There's a giving and a taking. Everything is mutual. You're not just being a giver and you're not receiving. You know, so make sure you can identify those type of things that happen. If they're not happening, you're in the wrong crowd, you're in the wrong group. You're settling. It's not adding to your life. It's actually taking away. And then, you know, being in the right crowd, there's similar values in a group and a crowd of people. When I say crowd, I'm talking about people, friends, associates, colleagues, whatever that group is, family members. You know, there are similar values that you guys share. It is very uncomfortable and frustrating having a relationship with someone that your values are completely different and they opposite, and there's always a clash. I discuss this a lot when I do couple counseling or coaching with couples, and there's some issues and there's a barrier of them learning to enhance their relationship, to connect. And so I give them a lot of interventions that deal with coactivity, coaction, you know, finding things to do together so you can kind of get that again. If you lost the level of intimacy is so important. What did you do in the beginning? Maybe you have to go back and start over again and do those things, reintroduce those things. And, you know, that brings back maybe old feelings of intimacy and admiration. But anyway, that's that. But still, we're talking about relationships when we're talking about connecting with people and crowds and groups and friends and all of that stuff. So when you're in the wrong group, there's a disconnect. Like I said, you have everybody's values are totally different. Again, one thing about being in a particular church or a positive group, the reason why you really feel great about the group or you feel good about the group or you really connect is because there's something that you like. There's values that you like and agree with, and that you can share and that you can talk about. So it makes it more interesting and you have more things to share because you feel like you understand each other. So there's a level of understanding. There's a level of empathy in that group. Oh, this earring is hurting my ear. So anyway, that's that. With the wrong association, like I said, you have the opposite of everything I just mentioned. The disconnect, no similar values. It's the wrong crowd. Everybody's goals are completely opposite, and I mean in a negative way. So think about those things. I want to move to the next topic of settling for the wrong. I did wrong crowd, friend. Let me finish this. Wait a minute, I got some little notes here. These have become conflictual relationships. Yes, you know what? I am finished with that. I want to move to the wrong job and wrong career. How about facts? We need to apply this to every part of our life, every area of our life. We need to start thinking about things. We know as we get older, we get wiser. So we should have more wisdom about how we do things, more wisdom in our decision making, everything we do in life. So even settling for the wrong career and job. And I do understand that sometimes we may be in a drought or a situation where we have to do something that we don't necessarily like doing, but we're doing it for a season. And you understand that it's just for a season. Let me drink my smoothie I made before it turns into pure juice. This is my brunch. Spinach, bananas, mangoes, water. There may be something else in there. Spinach. That's why I put green. Spinach is in there. So I feel good about that. I'm trying to take care of myself internally and externally. So this stuff here, this stuff I'm giving you right now helps you internally and externally, because when you apply this in your life and into your mind and get it into your heart and your spirit, you have a better outcome externally. Okay? All right. So everything is tying together here. So settling for the wrong career, wrong position, wrong. Now the thing about this, when you get older, you usually learn more about yourself. And so a lot of things you do will become more purposeful. Like taking up a certain course in school or some kind of trade, because now you understand more what your passion is. Or maybe in this season you have a new passion and a new purpose, and so you want to learn about it, you want to research about it, whatever. And so you look for that course that is in alignment with the things you love to do and who you are today. We have different seasons and different purposes. I don't like to focus on your purpose, because you can serve in different roles and different purposes. But it's just good to be intentional about why you're doing what you do. Really, that's what it is. Why are you doing what you do? Why are you in this class? Is it helping you reach that goal? Is it helping you achieve something? Because if it's not, then you may be wasting time, and you may be wasting money. And, as we get older, we don't have time to do that. You may have a little, when you're younger, tomorrow's never promised to any of us, but still you have a different mindset when you get older than when you're younger. You're still finding yourself, you're finding your identity. You're trying to find out what you want to do in life, how you want to take care of yourself, what job, what career, which way you want, business, whatever it is that you want to do. Sometimes you entertain different avenues. You try different things and find out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But as you get a little older, you become more intentional and more purposeful, and you start to examine things a little bit more, and you start to evaluate things. At least we should be doing that, really, right? So you don't want to have the wrong position and the wrong career, the wrong choice of study, because you will end up frustrated. Just frustrated. Now, you can be working in a business that you love, whether it's your own business or for somebody else, whatever. But if you love what you do, understand you are going to still have moments where you just like, oh, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, I need a break, whatever. But what keeps you motivated and moving is that you, at the end of the day, you still love what you do. You like what you do, at least. You don't hate it. But a lot of times when you set yourself up and you settle for the wrong study, the wrong career, the wrong job, whatever, you will end up frustrated and burned out more quicker. You'll develop compassion burnout, where you don't care. You're short about other people's problems and issues and whatever. You just like, I'm just here to do a job and I'm out. You don't connect with people. You don't stay for the after parties. Not that you should always stay for the after party, because I don't. If it depends on where I'm at. It's great to do that if you're in a great place, and it's good for you to learn, meet new people, form new alliances. You never know. You may find somebody you may get together and work on a project. You just never know. Relationships, it's beautiful building great, healthy relationships with people, because you never know where they're going to take you. Opportunity can come out of that. But what I'm saying is, you just want to be in the right place with the right people. You want to be happy at the end of the day doing what you love to do. If you're in the wrong place, in the wrong position, it doesn't fit none of your values, you don't really connect with it. You're not really invested in what you're doing because you really don't care. And people can end up getting compassion burnout. Some of us may start out that way from the get-go, but we feel like this is what I have to do, because you're used to settling. You're used to taking whatever. You don't even know how to, or never been a person who asks for more. Like I said, position yourself for more. Ask for the raise. Ask for the increase. Take on another project. Be part of something else. You're not used to doing that. It could be because of fear. It could be because of stress, and it could be because of trauma. I'm telling you, it is. It could be because of all those things. There may be a fear there because you scared of rejection. You have a fear of rejection. You feel unworthy again, so you don't feel like you're able to do it. Maybe you feel like you're not competent enough. But see, I like to help people with their mindset and change their perspective. Because if you see it in a positive sense, using that example of backing out of something because you think you're not competent enough, Use it as a avenue for you to learn. You're going to learn something new. First, you have to be willing to embrace the mistakes. I always say that you have to be willing to embrace the mistakes so you can move forward. Understand that it's still you're learning. You're going forward. You're learning something. So look at it as a lesson. What are you going to get out of it at the end of the day? Try it. You may be real good at it. How do you know you're not going to have support? So that's dealing with the wrong career. Now, dealing with the wrong significant other. Whether you call your man, boyfriend, your woman, a wife, your girlfriend, whatever. Please do not settle. Because even all of the other things that I've mentioned, if you have in the wrong relationship, your unhappiness will appear and display in all those other places that I mentioned. School, job, crowd, group, whatever. If you live with somebody every day and it's the wrong person, your values don't line up, your goals don't line up at all, you don't agree on anything, that is a conflictual relationship. It's dysfunctional. It's not working for either one of you. So be purposeful and intentional even about the relationships that you form. Why are you forming a relationship? You just used to selling? You just want to be with somebody? That's not a good reason. You got to live above that now. Come on, let's grow. Want more for yourself. You have to love yourself. When you love yourself and you respect yourself, you won't settle. You don't just settle for anything and everybody and anybody. You just don't, because you value yourself. I don't have time for foolishness. I don't have time for someone who's not peaceful. They're always disruptive or just negative all the time. I don't have time for that. So I want you to just really think about the people that you connect with. Male, female. Selling for the wrong man, the wrong woman. It's not complimentary. You don't compliment each other. You're not helping each other to grow. Again, it's not edifying. I want to marry somebody who we edify each other. It's like I build him up. He builds me up. We complement each other in different areas. We don't have to be doing the same thing, and we can have some goals that are different. But the most important goal is that we want to work towards building up each other. We want to work together. That's what I was looking for. We want to work together. We have similar values. Very important. Similar values. The value can be just wanting to live a life that's meaningful. Always helping people. Maybe we both like to serve other people, and that's great, because then we really can identify on a whole lot of levels of what it means to serve other people, what it means to have a spirit of outreach. I would be unhappy if I was with somebody who really don't like people and they're always to themselves. Like, that wouldn't work for me, because I'm social. I'm outgoing. I like to help other people. I like to connect. I like to talk, as you probably can see. I like my quiet time too. But I love connecting with people. It helps me to thrive. It gives me, I learn more about people that way. So I couldn't be with somebody who's opposite in that way. No. It's not complimentary. There's a constant clash all the time. I am a non-argumentative person. So I couldn't be with someone, even friends now, they like drama. They stir up stuff. They gossip about everything. What it really does is depresses my spirit. And I know that I'm like that. And so that would be very, very, very dysfunctional for me to be in a relationship that's like that. So there's a lot of clashing. If you constantly disagree on everything, pay attention to that. Why are we disagreeing on everything? Is it because somebody don't respect you? Because sometimes people don't respect you. They don't value your opinion. They don't value your perspective. They just don't value at all. And so if a person is already like that, it doesn't matter what you sing, what you bring to the table. They already have in the back of their mind that they really don't value. And they may be unconscious, subconsciously, they don't really know that or realize that they feel that way about you. But by the symptoms, by how every time you maybe share something or present an idea, an opinion, they're easily knocking you down before you even kind of think about what you're saying. It's like they totally dismiss what you're saying. Like, nope. If somebody's always like that, they don't respect you. They really don't. And you have to really deal with the facts. Look at it for what it is. Look at it for what it is. What's that saying? If a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time. So the first time I see stuff like that, I'm automatically turned off. I'm like, I'm turned off. I'm shut down. We good. Praise the Lord. Keep it moving. So you have those are symptoms of a dysfunctional relationship that is not healthy for you. It's not healthy for where you're going. It's really not healthy for the other person that's going either. Your beliefs are different. The relationship is discouraging as opposed to being encouraging. Big sign. There's no acts of support. There's no acts of service. That kind of relationship makes you feel more insecure. And sometimes you may not be an insecure person, but if you're in a relationship where a person makes you insecure about the relationship, it stops bringing up stuff. And it may bring up stuff that you battled with in the past that you overcame. But when you get with the wrong person, they bring out all the negative in you. And I've seen people like this in relationships. Like, you guys didn't belong together. Totally don't belong together at all. I've seen people in a relationship where they was with people that always brought out the worst in them. You find yourself acting in a whole nother way, and then see that same individual with somebody else, and it brings out the best in them. They thriving, happy together, like a total different person. Like, wow. And I look at things like that. Like, you can be with the wrong person, and look, we all live in a fallen world, a fallen state where man has fell away from God's original plan and purpose for humanity. And so we come into this world with a knowledge of good and evil. What we say in the Bible in the world is a world of, we come with iniquity. We're born into sin. It exists. The Apostle Paul said, talks about the struggle between good and evil. Evil is always present, and we just have to be aware of that. So don't make evil, don't invite evil in your life. Delete evil relationships. Get away from evil things, disruptive things. I'm trying to help you live your best life. I'm trying to help you live a life that's more peaceful. That should be, again, your pursuit or one of your desires in the midst of everything that you're doing. Because you don't even realize when you don't do that, and you always have, like I said, these type of friends and associations and relationships and jobs and communities, you are in a state, you don't even realize that a lot of your stress comes from these type of affiliations. It really does. And I'm trying to help you live a stress-free, we can't live a totally stress-free life, because it takes stress. We have to live with a certain amount of stress. There's a good level of stress. The stress that makes you get up and go and keep moving and working and things like that, thriving. That's a good level of stress. But I'm talking about the negative stress, like lessening that as much as possible. And we have to look at the things that we do and the people that we align ourselves with to find out, maybe this is stressing me out. Maybe this job and career is stressing me out. Maybe I need to make a transition. I need a change. You have to look out for number one, and that's yourself first. You can't even be good to anybody else unless you look out for number one. So you need to be the first person. You need to be your own doctor, your own therapist. I'm not negating that you might need those people. I'm just saying you should always be a person to try to find out what's going on with you. And you better than, well, sometimes we do, but a lot of times you know a lot more about you. You know a lot more about you than other people do. You can give them the information that they need to know about you. So moving along, still talking about, the wrong relationships, the wrong man, the wrong woman, the wrong wife, the wrong husband. And I don't want you to jump into something that's already crazy. I don't want you to miss the red flags and still settle and rationalize stuff, because like I said, when you're used to functioning at a certain level, when you're used to settling, you start rationalizing stuff, and then you start talking yourself into it, knowing that is not good, but you totally dismiss and ignore that. And then later on, you're trying to figure out what the heck why am I upset? Why am I frustrated? Why am I stressed out all the time? Be conscious. Be conscious. Insecurity relationship, the person you devalue, or the person devalue you overall. And so you just always have a constant battle in that relationship. Get rid of that stuff. Live better. Live better. Do better. When you know better, you should do better. I don't want to say when you know better, you do better, because that's not always the case. Because some people, they know better, or we may know better, but we don't always do better. My last thing is summing up everything. Like I said, settle for the right fit, the right crowd, the right group of people, the right relationships, the right career, the right business, the right associations, the right affiliations, the right networks, the right individual, that significant other, maybe the person you want to be with, maybe you want to get married, you want that, you want to meet your future husband or wife. When you learn a lot about yourself, then you are better at choosing or identifying the right person you need to be with for the rest of your life. Because marriage is a covenant, it's a contract that I am going to join myself with this person and become one. That's deep. Now, that's a whole nother video. Becoming one in itself is a process. Why go into it with a whole lot of schisms that cause division? We don't want to do that. So anyway, that's the end of this. I didn't even meant for it to be that long. I tell you, time goes so fast. But anyway, I hope this helps someone. Don't settle. I need you not to do that. I don't settle, and I'm not apologize for anything. I don't care if someone don't understand it because of maybe they minute limitations in that they place on their own life. I'm at a point where I am not settling. I can't help the things that I can't see, or that someone or something is not presented right away. Because sometimes you can get in a job and it seems wonderful at first, or a career, and you find out like, whoa, everything you told me is not like this. I recently experienced something like that. Like, okay, all these wonderful promises and this and that, and none of them none of them came through. And so I had to kind of, there was a transition I had to take, and I had to do it, and a better door opened up. Praise the Lord. And so I thank God for that. That was a learning experience. So even in relationships, they always say, when you meeting somebody, you really showing the best representation of yourself. You're showing the best part of yourself. Sometimes it's a lie, sometimes it's a mask. Don't settle. Get to know the person more. Get to know. It's almost like, even when it comes to, like, when I look at, and I'm sure a lot of you do this, you want to apply for work in a certain company, a job, you do some research. You want to find out about the director. I hope you're doing this, because a lot of times we already know to find out more about that company. Go on their website, look at what they do, the services they provide, and all that stuff. If there's some information about benefits and all that, you look for all that stuff. However, try to find history about the owner or the director of the company. How about that? Look, you have to be happy too. When you go to a job interview, the person is not only interviewing you, or the company is not only interviewing you, you're also interviewing them. You're interviewing the interviewer. You may be the interviewee, but you're also the interview. You're asking questions. You want to know some stuff. That's like dating. You're trying to get some data, some data. You want to learn about the other person.